Black culture played quite an influence in Colombia as well.
All our culture is a black culture too. Music, art, how to walk, for example, in the streets. Black people walks in a beautiful way, right? And how to talk, how to listen, how to relation with the other people. If you listen music in La Feria de Cali, if you listen music in Cuba, are from Africa, but it's not from Cuba. That is not from Cali or Santander de Quilichao.
Are you happy with this new Colombian culture? Because you have indigenous, you have black, and you have white. Are you happy with? Do you see a really good potential for the future? If Colombia can get, or South America can get everything into order, do you think that this really could be the new world with these three cultures?
Yes, I think so. Because I think the future is not in Europe. The future is not in Africa. Future is not in America. Future is not in Asia. Future is the mixer of all the cultures, of all the continents. I think that's a future.
How about Australia?
Listen, Australia too. Mm-hmm. The native people from Australia, they have a lot to show us.
But when you say that we're mixing the cultures, you're not saying that you're bringing. You're talking about specific aspects of the culture. So, for instance, from the white culture, what are you getting from the white culture? Because at the moment it's technological, but in the past it had Odin, Woden, Thor, Tuis, Hel. It had a lot of strong shamanistic pagan ideologies behind it, and in the language that was guarded. But now that English has changed so many times, the English now, as opposed to 500 years ago, is very different. So, what are you getting from a white culture in this mix?
White culture has an important place to build a new world. Not just black people or indigenous people, white people too, or Eastern people from Japan, Korea, China.
But Latin America is consisted of white, indigenous, and black. So
yeah.
What are you getting out of those three cultures? Or what is it that you want out of those three cultures for the future? Because obviously from the indigenous is the connection with nature.
For example, in Argentina, there are a lot of people from Eastern.
Syria.
No, Japan.
Oh, Japan as well.
China. Australia.
Oh, but China's going everywhere. Everyone's got Chinese
everywhere.
People.
Australia is full of Chinese people.
Because Australia's really close to China, and they want
yeah.
all the steel in the ground. But the largest components.
But Australia is not white people. Australia is not indigenous people only. Australia is Chinese people too. Yeah. Australia is American people from Colombia, from Brazil, from Argentina. Australia is a new country. Australia is building a new country with all the world's cultures, like United States.
There's a lot of in the press. There's a lot of things people that are saying, for instance, like Douglas Murray, Watson, and other people on the internet, that Europe is going through a suicide at the moment. It's imploding from within. That the end of its empire is coming. Do you see that coming, and the new the rise of the new empire or the new consciousness is going to be in the new world countries?
No new empire, new country, new world. Better, not new empire, new world with no empires, with no imposing cultures.
No new world order. No new world order.
No,
Get rid of that.
Not the capitalism new order. It's the new order of the new world. Living in peace, living respecting, living in harmony again.
But Colombia has had like a birth by fire, no? Because the birth of Colombia is from rape, murder, assassination, destruction of culture. How is Colombia gonna grow out of this to become one of those leading countries in the future if the new world happens? Do you think Colombia is in preparation, or all of Latin America is in preparation steps?
I think it's growing up. It's growing up slowly, but it's growing up.
Because the people are young. Yeah, when you meet Europeans, they're like quite old. You know, they're even when you meet a young European, they have like their culture is old. It makes them a little bit, which isn't a bad thing because, you know, with old comes wisdom.
But we have an old culture too.
It's young. But when you see, I mean, people here like to get pregnant young. Yeah, they like to be young mothers. There's nothing wrong with it. The society allows it, it accepts it. But in my country or in Europe, you know, people are having children in their 30s or not at all. So this is quite a young culture.
I think we must discover the new culture. We must discover the new world. We must discover the nature. We must discover the future. The future is not written yet. The future is not written yet. We must write the future history.
So Colombia is in the process of developing a new culture. When we look at Latin America, we're not seeing solidified cultures yet. What we're seeing is something trying to solidify.
I think the people is trying to find new things to do. One part of the population, another part is trying to repeat the history.
But if you want to have or build a new culture, I mean, Latin America is good with music, but with the arts, the painting and the sculpture, there's nothing there. With the literature, we've got people like you. With the poetry, we've got people like you as well. You write poetry. Where's the painting? Where's that coming in? Because there's nothing there.
Maybe new forms. Not exactly repeat the art previously to the conquistadors. No, maybe you can create a new music. You can create a new painting. You can create a new literature. Not just remember the past, build new, founded in the past.
What are the foundations of the past which are really important for the new foundations of Latin America?
Respect the history, respect the identity. But it's not exclusively from Colombia identity. I repeat, it's the global identity, but not imposed. Black people said this is the truth, or Eastern people says that's the truth, or white people say, or indigenous. No. Every people has the truth, and we must to understand and respect the truths. I don't believe in one truth.
Truth is plural, not a singular.
Exactly, in plural, not in singular.
There are many truths.
Many truths, of course, not just one, like a Bible. That's a truth in singular. No, I don't believe it.
Because you obviously have this issue with truths because of the conquistadors coming along and saying this is how it is, this is the truth. No, you can't have this anymore. It's like a defense mechanism for religious ideologies to come and penetrate the Latin America.
Not just the religion. Just for example, the science. Just one way. If you have cancer, if you are ill, the Occidental medicine says you must do that. No, why? In Africa, or in Asia, in Australia, in America, we have how to cure cancer. That's the truth too. You must recognize other cultures, other truths. If you don't recognize, you think you have the truth. You think you're right, and the rest of the world are wrong. I don't think so.